Hello everyone, and welcome to our tutorial on the Digital Library of Georgia. This is a really exciting database, you guys, and we're going to start off inside Galileo. I want you guys to know that Galileo has a huge collection of databases, and I really want to encourage you guys to explore it in your own time. There's over 200 databases within Galileo, and this is just one of them. So we've looked before at all the different databases that are in here, but today we're going to be looking at Digital Library of Georgia, and I just want to show you before I click here. Well, I'm clicked here. I just want to show you that you can also get to this page without going through Galileo by coming to our website, chrl.org, scrolling down to Digital Library, and clicking here on Digital Library of Georgia. Both of those links work. You won't need the Galileo password for either of these because this is a free database. You don't need to access it through Galileo, but it does live on Galileo, if that makes sense. And so here we are. We're at the Digital Library of Georgia. This is a really exciting site that has basically collected all of the historical documents throughout all of Georgia and put them in one place for you to peruse at home. And so this tutorial is for patrons of the Cherokee Regional Library System. We serve counties in Dade and Walker. So the first place I'm going to take you to is this section right here called Counties. So we're just going to click here, and you'll see that they have created an entire map of Georgia, and it shows here this little key here tells you that the number of records from each county. And so we have less than 1,000 records in Dade County, between 1,000 and 10,000 in Walker County. That's just records that people have added to this collection. If you're sitting on a treasure trove of primary resources like letters from your family members during historical times or old photographs, we are really interested in getting those digitized and put on this site for anyone in Georgia to access. So if you are interested in that, contact your local library, Dade, Rossville, Chickamauga, or Lafayette. We would love to work on a grant to make that happen. It would be very easy for us to do, but we just have to find those resources first before we can start doing that. So that's just a little shout out for those of you who have collected your own historical documents at home. To digitize them, we would just scan them. We would not hold on to them. You would get to keep them, and you would always get to keep them. They are yours to keep. But if you wanted to have them digitized and placed on this this website, that's what's happened here. If you see these counties have over 10,000 records, what has happened is probably the local library system has reached out to people in the community, found those resources, gotten them digitized, and then given them back to those owners. Sometimes they do live in the library if that is the wish of the owners. But in most cases, we're just digitizing them and giving them back to you. So that's my little spiel on that. So let's just see. Here we are, Walker County. We're going to view all records from Walker County. And you'll see that there are 2,724 records that have something to do with Walker County. And if I were to click here and choose Dade, what that would do is this would be that means that there are 77 items that pertain both to Dade and Walker. So you will want to search those individually if you're wanting to know about both of those. Right here we have the ability to refine our search by creator, that's the person who is kind of pushed to get it digitized. Subject, location here gets a little bit more specific. So some of these are just Lafayette, some of them are for all of Walker County, some Chickamauga, some Dade County items. Here, this is very helpful. Maybe you don't want to see some of these newer items. You can digitize anything. If it belongs to you, you give your permission to digitize it. We can add newer items. But for most people are really interested in looking at those historical documents. So I'm going to drop that down to 1926 just so that we can see what's around there. And then medium, this is interesting. So we've got lots of newspapers, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but also photographs, letters, monographs, land grants, maps are very interesting. And so you can see that you can probably lose a lot of time by just searching through this county section. And I always love looking at the photographs. So here are some older photographs. We've got the old Walker County Courthouse. That's interesting. Some pictures of terracing, and then not to leave Dade County out of this, I'm going to just go ahead and drop that out. And I'm going to choose Dade, remove Walker, and I want to see some photographs. Now some of these photographs, instead of living on this website, there will be just a link to a partner site. Usually you could just click on it and it'll take you right to that picture. So here is a picture of 3 ladies hanging out in the water. Very cool. At Cloudland Canyon State Park. So that's that. That was fascinating. But what I think many of you guys are going to be more interested in is the access to historical newspapers. So I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to click on the newspapers link. And this is the Georgia Historic Newspapers site. It's a site within a site. It's still part of the Digital Library of Georgia, but this is where they have all of the newspapers, historical newspapers throughout all of Georgia are located on this site, and these are ones that are in the public domain. So you're not going to find anything really after 1924, and that's because of a copyright issue. We cannot publish online those newspapers past 1924. However, I will say that our libraries do have access to the Walker County Messenger and the Dade Sentinel on a searchable database within our libraries up to around 1965, I believe. So, so do know that if you want to look at those newspapers between 1924 and 1965, you will have to physically come into the library, but they are searchable. So we're going to go to North Georgia. And you're going to see all the different newspapers that are available. In Dade, we have the Dade County Times, the Dade County Sentinel, and the State of Dade News. And then in Walker, I'm just going to scroll down here real quick so you can see. In Walker, we do have the Walker County Messenger. So I'm going to show you guys very quickly. I'm going to click on the Dade County Times. So here we are, the Dade County Times, Trenton, Georgia, 1908 to 1965. This date is referring to when the newspaper was first published and when it was stopped being published. It's not referring to the number of issues that are available through this site. In order to find that, you're going to need to go to first issue, and we're going to see that the first issue is April of 1908. And then we'll go back here. And the last issue that is available through this website is December 25th of 1908. So this is a very short range. We should be able to see issues up to 1924 at some point in time, but it just means that this is what they have available as of now. But they are always adding new newspapers and new issues, so that may change and may not be what you see if you're looking at this video after today. So just to show you, you know, it's just so fascinating to look at these older newspapers. So you can just browse, and the way to browse is just to, you know, we're on this issue right now. If we want to look at the next page, we just click next page, and we can zoom in. I'm zooming in by clicking on my mouse right now with my mouse roll button, or you can zoom in by using these buttons here, and just if you want to see down a little bit more, I'm just clicking my mouse and pulling that page up so that you can see the words a little bit better. These are digitized with a very, very high resolution so that you will be able to see them just as well, if not better, than if you had the newspaper in front of you. go to Home. Now, I showed you how to look within a specific newspaper. I'm going to go down to Walker County Messenger since we haven't looked at them yet. So here we are in the Walker County Messenger. And you can actually, I meant to show you this too, all issues front pages. This will allow you to see all of the different front pages so you can see exactly which newspapers have been digitized. I will say with some of the older newspapers, you may not get every single issue because some of them didn't last the test of time. But the ones that could be digitized were. And again, you can just choose any issue and scroll in so that you can read it just a little bit better. He was a short, stout, resolute-looking man. Okay, so let's go back to Home. And I want to show you how you can search. Let's say I'm going to search for the library. I want news about the library in Walker and Dade County. I know that didn't exist before 1924, but I want to see what people were saying about libraries at that time. So I am going to go to Search. And in this search button, I'm just going to type library. Now, if you were searching for maybe your family, if you wanted to see if you know your family was from this area, living in this area for a long time, you could just type in that family last name and see what would come up. But today we're going to search for library. And I'm going to come down here and search specific newspapers. So in this instance, and this is alphabetical, so we know we have the Dade County Sentinel here. We also know that there's the State of Dade News. And then you'll see that if it starts with the, which is the Dade County Times, we're going to find the Dade County Times here. So we're going to search the Dade County Times for the word library. And here it is. It is actually going to search a library. And then it'll have it highlighted for you. So, library after a century. The other day at the desk of one of the oldest city institutions of Philadelphia Library. So, they're talking about other libraries, but still. Very interesting and easy to search. So, I'm going to go back and instead of searching library, I'm going to search Weaver. We can hear about Senator Weaver. There it is. So this is very fascinating. I hope that this has been a helpful tutorial for you. If you have any questions, we are posting this tutorial on Facebook, and so just go ahead and put any questions or discoveries that you find in the comment section there, and we are looking forward to hearing what you discover at home using our Georgia Historic Newspapers website within the Digital Library of Georgia website, which in and of itself is part of the suite of Galileo databases, all brought to you through your hometown library. Let us know what you find.